Hey everybody, it's Rob with the Coach's Corner crew. A little different setting here tonight. It's Tuesday night, February 25th. And what I'm doing here tonight is basically giving an introduction to a interview that I did last Monday night on the 17th with the Cambridge City Lincoln High School head basketball coach and athletic director, Rodney Klein. And I told Rodney, hey, I said it might be a week or week and a half before we get this out on the air. It's been a few weeks since we've had a podcast. And as everybody knows, it's been a rough February. It's been cold. It's been bad weather. So, hey, our schedule's been a little bit quirky. But, hey, we're getting ready to come out with some more episodes. I'll fill you in on that here in just a second. But anyway, I had a real good interview in store for you with Rodney. A lot of good information. And he, of course, as you probably will hear me say in the interview, he's the first one who has sort of been out of our comfort zone, not a Franklin County coach or anything like that. But he was really gracious and we had a really nice interview. And we thank Rodney for that. But before we jump into that, and June will get this all spliced together, doing her good job as always, and Shelby will help me get it out on air. Should be coming out the usual time, the old midnight on Friday, and be available to you on Friday morning. Couple of things, just to catch you back up. Franklin County High School basketball season, regular season's over. Sectional pairings out. We have a strange week in between, but they're going to be playing, I think, next Tuesday or next Wednesday, at the South Dearborn sectional. The boys are second game versus South Dearborn, drawing the host school. So that'll be a tough match. But good luck to our boys. And I think they're going to show up and play well. And we'll get more info on all the results of that in a later podcast. Also, we want to give a shout out and a congratulations to the two Franklin County wrestlers who made the first round of the state finals, Colin Troyer and the Freeze Boy. Gosh, I'm going blank. And the Freeze Boy, but I'm sorry if I didn't have their names right in front of me. But they had great success getting to that first round of the state tournament. Unfortunately, they got beat. But what a showing by Franklin County Wrestling. Congratulations to Doug Dieters, Coach Lysing, all the boys on the team. Great season for them. And we tip our hats to you. And thank you for representing Franklin County High School and the wrestling program well. Also want to give a big congratulations to the FC Cancer Fundraising Organization, who in my view is ran by Tanya Wirtz and one of our coaches, corner crew members, Brandon Cowan. Not Bill Cower, Brandon Cowan. But a great job by the whole school. The totals were announced last Friday night at the Connorsville Franklin County game at Franklin County. And I believe Fayette County / Connorsville High School raised around $6,000 some dollars, and the Franklin County High School, Franklin County area, raised over 20 plus. The old record was 16, and they were a little nervous, but wow, what a showing by all the Chuckaducks, all the fundraising, the t-shirts, the donations, the Mr. Bradburn fundraising method, which he did wind up. They raised enough that he had his head shaved. Mr. Bradburn, Gary Bradburn, you're our own Marty Brenneman. And he had I think they're called a henna tattoo of FC emblems. Great sport as always. All that got displayed at the Connorsville game. What a game that was that night. Franklin County, unfortunately, did not come out on the winning end. But great crowd, great enthusiasm, and absolutely outstanding showing by the Franklin County High School and Franklin County community for all their good deeds in raising money for the FCCAN, the Franklin County Cancer Research Fund. And they're already got funds started for next year. Chuckaducks, for the last game on last Friday, the Connersville game, are into the bank coming up for next year. So Tanya, Brandon, all the people who work on the Fayette County end, the school officials and the people who donate their time, great job. Keep donating, keep this program alive, and let's keep raising money to fight this dreaded disease. But you can see I'm in a little different surrounding tonight. I am here at E.W. Brockman, but instead of the coach's corner crew office, which is right on the other side of this wall, you're in my office here where I get to do some of my daily chores, and it's got sports books and pictures and things that y'all don't see on camera. But I'm just doing it from a little different setting tonight. And I got to go pick up pizza here in a few minutes. So we just wanted to give another little introduction to the Rodney Klein interview, and to give a little notice that me and some of the boys are going to be on the road this weekend up in Fort Wayne for the Indiana State Bowling Association tournament. I haven't bowled in a big tournament like that in probably 20, 25 years. So I hope I don't let the team down. And my doubles partner, Mike Huff, and Wes, who's on the team, and Matt Davis, and some other fellow who I don't really know so well. But while we're there, because we're going to be bowling over 2 days, we are going to attempt to put on a podcast from our hotel. Now, after talking with June and everybody, we should be able to do this. But we're going to turn this episode into sort of our bowling history, which may not be for everyone, but any of those of our listeners who's bowled with the Jacks Pack teams and all the other teams, the Brockman teams, different ones that we've been on at Rushville and all different places, we're going to kind of dedicate this episode to them. And we hope to get some of our bowlers who are in the tournament on the podcast and share some of their stories. And we're going to try to keep it PG. Everybody, you get the bowlers together, you never know what could get said. But June will edit it, and we'll keep it for all our listeners. So I hope we have a lot of fun, and we'll get that episode ready and stuff. So we'll probably have episodes this upcoming Friday and the next Friday. Kind of get you caught up a little bit. And I know we've been promising the CYO episodes and things, but weather and schedule just hasn't permitted it yet. But we're not giving up. We hope to get one in about the middle of March and get you caught up and get some of those stories and get you to meet some of those people who were vital in the CYO program and are friends of the program today. So I don't want to take up too much time. We want the rest of the episode to go to Rodney's interview. So I hope all of our listeners and viewers tune in, give us a lot of views, give us some feedback back. And I'm going to shut it down on my end from the Rob Allen office here at the E.W. Brockman company, which this office has been held by Jim Hardy, Rock Hardy, Bill Charles, Charlie Shank, Charlie Hudson, and of course Bob Brockman, which was Mike Brockman's dad. So I'm kind of proud to be in this office. Changed it up a little bit, but we keep getting the work done here, and we always thank Brockmans for letting us use the building. So without further ado, we're going to splice into our Rodney Klein interview. We hope everybody enjoys, and if you can't get to sleep and turn on the viewing, it'll be out the usual time this Friday. So enjoy, and we hope you like everything and start viewing us on Friday. Thanks, everybody. June will get started with the interview.
Yeah.
Oh, hey everybody. Welcome to the Coach's Corner crew. We got one of our first sideline episodes of the year, and we're glad to have with us Rodney Klein, who is athletic director and head coach of boys basketball up the road up here at Cambridge City High School. The Lincoln, still the Golden Eagles, isn't it?
Still the Golden Eagles. Yeah.
Still the Golden Eagles. And we're glad, Rodney, we're glad to have you with us tonight. You are the first. Well, no, we had the On the Road episode, which we interviewed some Franklin County coaches.
Okay.
But you're the first to step out of our little safe world here.
Well, yeah.
You know, Rodney's been gracious to come on tonight. He's had a busy day, and as athletic directors do. And you've been at AD now at Cambridge City for several years? Or
2 years. This is my second year.
Okay.
Second full year, yeah.
But how long you been head coach?
Let's see now. It's been a long time. I think it's been 24 years, 25 years. It's hard to remember. I've been in education for 35. I have coached at some level for 35 straight years now, but I've been a varsity coach for about 24.
Okay. How long has it been in Cambridge City? I'm starting to forget.
This is my 14th year at Cambridge City, so it's been a while. You know, I was Connersville there for 12 years, and I moved up here back over to Lincoln, where I went to school at, which means a lot to me. You get to go back to my home school and coach, and we've had some good talent, we've had some good kids, and our program is good, and our athletic program is good, and we have a lot of support, and we're pretty excited about that.
Well, and you know what? That just shows you how time flies, because obviously I remember your years at Connersville.
Yeah.
Playing against Franklin County and coming up to Spartan Bowl, and actually the first game I took my daughters to, I said, this is gonna seem like a professional arena. They were younger than before. They were probably right about junior high age or right before junior high age.
Right.
And they of course played basketball at St. Michael's, and it was a game that I remember Matt Howard playing in, and obviously you coached Matt Howard, and we've mentioned him in the Butler program quite a bit. And when they walked in the gym, it was just their eyes bugged out, because they had been to a Reds game, but they hadn't seen a basketball atmosphere like Spartan Bowl. Yeah. And those, I'm sure, were special years. But did you, just to go into your history, did you coach anywhere prior to Connersville?
Yeah, I was at Edinburgh High School.
Oh, you were at Edinburgh?
Yeah, I was at Edinburgh. I was the athletic director at Edinburgh and the head basketball coach there for 4 years. And, it's always nice. We played them this weekend, and two of my former players' children were on the basketball team. Their leading scorer was a son of one of the players that played for me, and their point guard was the son who played for me. So it's always neat to go back. We've played Edinburgh since I've been at 4 years after I've been at Lincoln. It's always nice to go down there and see old friends, and it's always nice for them to come up to our facility as well.
The Edinburgh gym, we've been by it, and actually when Franklin County played there a few years ago, I didn't get to go. And then I think one of our fellows here, Huffy, who's on the corner crew with us, went down there for a Oldenburg, a regional maybe, or a sectional. Is that like a little mini bowl?
It is exactly like Spartan Bowl, except about a quarter of its. About a quarter of its size. I think if you go 10 rows up, you're at the top row. But it's identically built. It's pretty unique in itself, just like Spartan Bowl was. Those old gyms, Newcastle's gym, Indian Creek has one like that. There's some other ones down south that were built in that time frame where they were allowed to build. Now you can't build those gyms anymore. Now they're all fire code violations, so you can only remodel those, but you'll never see a new one like that.
I never really thought about that, because I know that is a style that's you don't see it. I just thought maybe it was for construction reasons, but when I would drive around the Edinburgh gym, the outside of it on the one side had the look of Spartan Bowl out.
Yep.
How you could almost tell it was a bowl-like gym.
It was very similar when we left Edinburgh to come to Connersville as one of the first teams my wife saw, because my wife was from northern Indiana. She had not seen that gym before, so it was just a bigger version of what we'd already been at Edinburgh.
Awesome. Obviously, you coach there and have success. And you answered one question already. You went to Cambridge City High School.
Yes, I
What
did.
years did you graduate?
I graduated in '85, so I was there.
Sure, you're only a year before me.
Yeah, I was there. I was here at the time when Coach Renner had us in the sectional semifinal against the team that went to the state finals for Connersville and won the state that year. they played us to 11-point game that game. We held the ball and did some good things in that year.
Were you on the team?
I was on the team. Didn't play. I was on the team that year, but
I was at that game.
But and then the next year we had some success when we were juniors, and then my senior year we lost. I played most of the time up with those guys. And in my senior year, we lost a bunch of those, and we struggled our senior year to score. But Cambridge City is a special place, and it's a unique place because it is so special. It's family-oriented, and that's what one of the drawbacks for me was just like, going back to my own family roots, and I just really enjoy it there. It's a great place.
Well, I don't blame you. And I'm a little bit, as people have heard me even say, and even when I announce down in Franklin County, I try to always announce when they're a Tri-Eastern Conference team. See, Brookville, as you probably already know, before they joined the EIAC, they had about 2 years as an independent. Mm-hmm. But they were in the TEC, Brookville mm-hmm. High School was. But at that time, and I can't quote all the teams, I think it might have only been Cambridge City, Hagerstown, Liberty, us, maybe one other. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me on that time frame. That would have been in sort of the 1970, 69, 70 range, something like that. But I've always been a fan of the TEC just because we delivered a lot of those schools. Mm-hmm. I just like the regionalism of it. Mm-hmm. I know size-wise, is it pretty much single A, double A, or does it jump into 3?
Centerville there for a little bit was 3A, and now they've dropped back to 2A with the new classification. So pretty much it's 1A and 2As. Like I said, it's when the classifications were different, Centerville was a 3A school there for a while. But, we're one of the smaller ends of that. Us, Union City are on the smaller ends, and then mm-hmm. you have the medium schools, and then obviously the Centervilles, the Winchesters, the Northeasterns a little bit bigger than everybody else. But our conference plays some really good basketball. We've got some really good basketball teams in it. We've got some really good coaches in it. We've got programs that succeed and good people running them. So it's a fun conference to be involved with. In all sports, it's a fun conference to be involved with.
I get the Western Wayne News, and I get a little lazy about it. I go wild on it in the fall when I get started on everything because I like to read everything, whether it's cross country, whether it's soccer, volleyball, into the football, and everything like that. I apologize. That must be you. We have the same ring.
I apologize for that.
So no, that's okay.
It's
an emergency.
I'll get that. No, it's not an emergency. I'll get that later.
Hey, we're always used to phones ringing or people out in the office, so it's nothing here. We had a guy doing sales call one day, and we heard him taking an order in the other room. But I just always thought the regional of it, the territory of it. But it does kind of span a good distance. When you got Union County on one corner and
Union City all the way up to the northern part, and then you go all the way over to Knightstown.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good area of circumference of teams, and like I said, I've been fortunate enough to be a part of it for a while. Part of it was when I was a kid as well. We just got good people, and that's what makes the Tri-Eastern Conference so special. Is I think all the athletic directors work really hard at trying to help each other out. I think all of us, all of our schools work really hard at making sure when we host things, we host them at first class, and that just says a lot about the things we do. And I just think in all sports, our conferences are pretty competitive.
Well, I know just by keeping up with records, keeping up with standings, of course. And we'll get into that here in just a little bit. The basketball conference is tremendous again this year. But let's jump into a little bit of just how your fall season went. Obviously, you guys are still having football and things, but you made a good jump in football this year, didn't you? You had more players.
We went to a new coach, Jeremy Bain, and Jeremy's come in, and he was our assistant coach the year before, and he teaches in our building. He's a really good guy, really good motivator, does a nice job of recruiting kids, and our numbers went up. We went up from 15 from 1 year ago to last year we had almost 21, 22 most of the time. So our numbers are getting up. We graduated a truckload this year, 12 seniors, but we do have 12 to 14 eighth graders that look like they're going to play. So I think our numbers will stay that 20, 22, 23 range, which is enough to be competitive, and that's where we've got to be.
What, as far as like junior high football, what is the junior high? I'm kind of forgetting, is the junior high mixed in with the high school?
No, our junior high is in the same area as the high school. Well, if you go in our building is extremely long, and one end is the high school, one end is the middle school. And our 7th and 8th grade there, we used to be a 6th grade. We backed that back off to the elementary, so we have 7th and 8th graders. And like I said, we had quite a few 7th and 8th graders play football this year, and our numbers were up in most sports in the fall. So that was good to see.
As far as girls volleyball, which I think in the past, maybe this year, man, I just don't know all the records and everything, but it seemed like Cambridge City ladies were always really competitive in in like volleyball and stuff like that? And did they have good volleyball season? The ladies end up. Did that go good?
Our volleyball season this year was a little bit of an up and down season because we had a lot of young kids.
Okay.
We graduated a lot a year before. Our head coach who'd been there for 30 years, over 350 wins, retired, and then we brought in our assistant coach Donnie Crum, who's done a really good job with the girls as well. But we were young and inexperienced, and when in high school athletics, you'll see most of the teams that really succeed at a high level are upperclassmen hoisted. They have a lot of juniors and seniors. They mix in some younger kids, but they have a lot of juniors, seniors with experience. We didn't have a lot of that this year in volleyball, but I thought our kids made some big strides from where they started in the season to where they ended. And success can be defined a lot of ways. People want success as a win. Success doesn't always mean winning, because you can win a game and not have a successful game.
Yeah.
So I judge when I'm evaluating my coaches, evaluating our programs, where did we start? Where did we finish? And if that thing is going that way, then that's where we want to be.
Well, and I didn't coach. I got to be a varsity coach at Franklin County for soccer for 4 years, and I was privileged to do that. I learned just in the backyard, from Mr. O'Brien and in the backyard. But I coached basketball for over 27 years, but more on the CYO grade school level and things like that, and have worked with basketball programs, but. Coaching, I've always, and you can agree or disagree with me in this, you mentioned success on different levels. Some of the things that I've admired in coaches, and even admired in some of my favorite seasons, was it didn't show in the win and loss record. But one, the team kept together. They understood, this might be a little kumbaya here, but they understood that it's fun to play basketball. It's a privilege to play a sport like that. So enjoy it. Work hard at it. Respect it. Stick together. Work through the highs and lows. And when you get the end of a season, if you had a team that was able to survive all that, as sometimes seasons are, I felt that way about some of my soccer teams. We would just get pulverized in the EIEC conference in the beginning, but we would hang in there. I said, look, we got to just hang in there, and better things will happen. And one year, like the first year when we almost won sectional, we was a minute away from PKs. And I was like, see, girls, it's not that our record was anything that great, but we darn near walked out here with a sectional championship. Got beat by a great Centerville team that year. Right. Maria Ivy and all that good group. But you can get so much out of a season. The kids just, when they buy into what the coaches want, and they're all working all for one, all for one, one for all, then boy, I think that shows good for the coach and good for the players.
Yeah, and coaching is so much relationships. How you build relationships with kids, and relationships with your community. And I always, when I speak, I get to very privileged to speak in a lot of different areas about things. And one of the things I tell you about is that you can't really judge a coach until 5 to 10 years after those kids graduate, because then you find out what you instilled in them. You find out what kind of parents they are. You kind of find what kind of husbands they are and fathers they are. Because when you go through high school athletics, very few programs, very few kids have NBA, NFL type kids. We have kids that are going to grow up and they're going to be successful in a lot of different areas, and sports is going to be a critical role in that. But how they grow up, we always talk about that. When kids call me about having a baby or getting married, or I remember this game, and not because of winning and losing, because of this, and I appreciate what you did. Those are the things that when I look back over a span of a career of what I've had, that I've been blessed that so many of our kids come back. And even from programs, we played Edinburgh the other night. We had Edinburgh former players, Connorsville former players that I still keep in contact with and see their kids. And the Lincoln kids, now that I've been there long enough, are out getting married, having children. Those are the kind of things that I start gauging program success on and coaches success on, because we, as coaches, will never win enough.
Yeah.
If you're looking at just strictly wins, then you're probably chasing the tail end of failure, because you can't focus everything on wins and losses. My grandfather used to have a great analogy. He'd always say, if you're going to go to a horse race, you can take the prettiest donkey you've ever owned, and you can run it in a thoroughbred race, and guess what? It's going to look good while it's running, but it's still not going to win. And you've had some success raising that donkey and doing things, but you're running against horses they're not ready to compete against. So I think sometimes you have to keep things in perspective, which we now live in a society that has a hard time keeping things in perspective.
Well, and not to bring up my brother-in-law, who you probably know, Terry Turner, who was a long time coach at Anderson baseball and coached Connorsville back in the years, the grade school level, and Anderson ladies, and of course won 2 state baseball ties with Daleville, and he got into their Hall of Fame recently, just here 2 weekends ago, and I think his win total is enough to get him in the Baseball Hall of Fame someday. And Terry, I'm going to have you on. Don't be patient. He always knows that from Laurel High School. But he has reiterated time and time again what you just said, and I felt that too. That seeing what the kids have gone on to do, that they'll become good people. Some of them coach, some of them do other things, are active, or been soldiers, or helping to the community in various different ways.
Absolutely.
And good family people. It's very, very the rewarding end that overrides a lot of the hard stuff that comes with it.
Absolutely.
But
if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Exactly. It's kind of like League of Their Own. Yeah. It's like baseball. It's fun because it's hard. If it's not hard, everybody would do it.
That's exactly right.
And obviously, you still have. Let's just go through the list on the fall. Do you have mixed cross country?
We have girls and boys cross country in the fall. We offer football in the fall. We offer boys tennis in the fall, and we offer volleyball in the fall. Okay. So those are our fall sports. We do, cheerleading obviously is a fall winter type of thing, but those are our fall sports. And like I said, we've seen some success in numbers, and we know we have got the right people in the right leadership roles, and I think we've got nothing but good days looking forward.
That's good. That's exciting too. And now, obviously, folks, we're about 2 weeks away from boys sectionals. And you've still probably got a few games to play before sectional.
We got 2 games left. We have Seton Catholic this Friday night. Seton's a really good team. They lost their first 5, and now since then they've been 13-5 since, and they've won 7 in a row. So they're going to be a challenge. They're athletic. They got some good solid players, a lot of length. And then we play Centerville, who's obviously right now playing as good as anybody in the state of Indiana in 2A. They've got a lot of strength, and their best players back now. The Hollendonner kid who was out with the knee injuries back. He's been getting some numbers. So we've got 2 really tough games, but 2 tough games that will prepare us for what we're going to see in a couple weeks in the tournament. And that's, we just had a week of 3 games, and a lot of people don't like scheduling that late in the year, but I've always been a firm believer, and I really believe it, that you, a couple weeks out, you schedule those 3 games so your kids get that feel what it's like to play on a Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, and see what legs you have on Saturday. So we still got 2 weeks to fix some of that and what we're going to see in legs. So we got some tough games left, but excitement left too.
Well, and you mentioned Centerville. Obviously, we just got done playing them, and Hollendonner was back. We were told ahead of time, hey, if he gets to 29 points, that's his 1,000th point, and he's only a junior.
He's only a junior.
Because see, I remember seeing that group as freshmen, and it's like, whoa, they're going to be something. And the thing and I'm from a bygone era, I know you got to coach for what your strengths are, what your size is, what your player skill levels are. But I still love seeing inside play. And one thing that they were good at the threes too, but they had 72 points against us. And Franklin County actually played a pretty good game. We just couldn't match them strength inside.
Right. They're very physical inside, very strong.
They know how to get the ball well inside, and they're determined to do it, but they got the best of both worlds. They can step out and hit threes. But
if you can extend the defense and you got guys that can play inside, then you got a special group.
Sure.
Because then defenses can't just run you off the line, and they can't just sag in off of you. So if you've got both of those, you got a special team.
Yeah. But enough about good old Centerville Bulldogs. We may have them on here someday. How has your season? It's looking like by the standings and when I get to talk to you that you guys have had a nice run this year in basketball.
Yeah, we're currently 12-7, and we've had a couple games that slipped away from us late, and we won a couple games late. The season has its tendencies to balance out. You look at the season and say, well, we could have won that game. Yeah, but down 4 games before that, you could have lost that game very easily too. So we've got a good group of kids. We've got a good mixture. We've got 5 seniors, 3 sophomores, and a junior. So we've got a really good mixture of kids. All of them played together last year, which really, really helps. They understand that in order for us to be good, it's got to be what's across the front of our jersey. And as long as they understand that, then we've got a chance to play. And we go out and we tell the kids every night, if you compete hard and you do what we ask you to do, end result is we'll live with it. The only time we really get upset with kids is if they don't play hard, and we just don't have that. Our kids understand that when they step across those lines in the gym, that it's business and they're going to play hard, and then whatever happens, happens. There are no excuses. We don't allow our kids to blame officials. We don't allow our kids to blame anybody else. It's all, we call it a we system, and we means me included, the assistants included, all the players included. When something doesn't go right, it's all on us, and when something goes well, it's all on us.
Do you have? I know now they call it the C team. Do you have a group that's like a C team?
We have a JV team and a C team team. We were very fortunate this year. We had 10 freshmen come out. Our numbers were really high in the freshman class. We've got a couple really. We got 3 or 4 freshmen playing for the first time, and where we're happy about where they started in November and where they're at right now.
Sure.
And that's the big thing for us is now we've developed those kids that we feel like we can fill some gaps with next year, and we can fill some gaps on the varsity with our kids that are currently playing JV. So I think we do a pretty good job of developing kids, and I think that that's going to be a good situation for us here down the road.
Well, it sounds like it, but haven't you guys been, and not to give away a scouting report, because this is viewed all over, you've been a lot of a sort of a guard-oriented team, haven't you?
We teach our kids how to shoot the basketball, and that's one of our strengths. We feel like we can shoot the basketball. Now, the other night at Winchester, when we started out this game 0 for 15, we didn't look like we could throw it anywhere. But we have games like that. You can't control whether you make shots or not. You can take grid shots. Shots are going to go in. They're going to go out. We concentrate on defensively. But yes, we are pretty much guard oriented. We really don't have any big kids. I think our biggest kid is 6'4", and we're average between 6'4" and 6 foot. We're right in there. If you interchange all of our 8 guys that do a lot of playing for us, they're all about the same size. So we just rotate in and out. We really don't have a big man that we'd say guards bigs. We just defenses to how we have to play people, and so our kids understand that, and it's every week. Part of that is every week's a new adventure for us because we defend differently for each group, and we've got 3 main defenses that we stay with, and we adjust those with what we have to do, and sometimes we have a great game plan going in, it turns bad, and we switch to another defense, it works out for us. So it's nice to have those things in our back pocket.
Your home gym, of course, I got to go there in high school. I always thought that was just a good place to play. It's a good environment. It's loud. It reminds me a little bit, maybe just kind of how Brookville High School was. It's everybody's in there together. Do you think of it as that's kind of a crazy question. I think every coach would almost say they feel the home field advantage when they're in a gym, but do you have that feeling at your guys' gym?
I think our gym is an exceptional place to shoot in. I think it's, even for the visiting teams, sometimes it's too good of a place to shoot in. We don't have a lot of distractions behind the rims.
Lighting.
The lighting's really good.
Lighting kind of condensed to the court?
Yeah, it's really condensed to the court, and we don't have a lot of background things behind the goals, and that's on purpose because I feel like that's the best. You get in some areas, there's a lot of banners and things behind the rims, and maybe get you distracted a little bit, but we don't have that. And like I said, we're going through a remodel phase here starting in March, where we're going to do a lot of remodeling to our athletic facilities and our gymnasium stuff. So I'm really excited to see what that's all going to bring about here in the next year or so.
And when you talk about lighting, I've got Larry Bird's old book in there, Drive, and he would always say how his favorite shooting arenas, and even Steve Alford has said this, anything that's where, like for example, if the crowd looks far away, or if it's too much light up above, anything that kind of throws off any of us who've ever shot. Get me in a small gym, and trust me, everybody who watches the show now, I wasn't that good shooter. But then you're getting a gym where there's not many people in it, or the bleachers are pushed back. Next thing you know, I'd shoot an air ball over the son of a gun or something. Right. But keeping the lighting, and you don't see gyms, obviously Spartan Bowl's different because the lighting's dark through the bowl. They can't light that big thing up and blind you in there. But keeping the lighting on the floor and in the darkened area around, I always thought that just keeps you focused on the game. Brookville High School was that way.
Yeah, it was. I remember playing down there in those days. It was like that. It's a far different cry than what it was now that they play in Franklin County. Totally different atmospheres as go. But it's and the thing is that a lot of those old gyms like that you're talking about, these young kids will never get the opportunity to see those things. That's the difference. When our kids, we talk about a lot with the past and different teams that we've coached, and we talk about playing in different gyms, and they'll go, "Where's that gym at? Oh, wait a second, I forget that school's not even around anymore when you guys are here." So it's a little bit different, and there's newer and brighter things or whatever's out there. But like I said, we're very blessed. We're excited about the new renovations we're going to get. We're excited about where all our programs are, and I think that if we continue to do what we're doing in lots of different areas, I think our kids will continue to succeed in all the sports that we have.
Well, that's exciting, and not to leave out your other fall sports. Obviously, girls basketball. Their seasons, I'd say, over.
Their season was over,
Yeah.
and once again, we had a lot of young kids in that area. We had a new coach again this year, a lot of young kids in that area, and the thing was with them is we saw improvement, and those are the things you're looking at. We had a girl that was all conference day, and I told her, I said how proud I was of her because she was a good player for us all 4 years, but she was a better leader and a better person on the floor than anybody. I mean, she just did a tremendous job of bringing people together, and not only was she a good player, she was a good leader, so we're going to miss her. But we have a lot of our girls back for next year. Our wrestlers, we had just had a wrestler in the semi-state.
I just was getting ready to ask about wrestling.
Gage Sherwood, a tremendous. If you want to meet a guy that exemplifies what high school athletics are like, you should be around him. His ability to get focused before a match is off the charts. You could go talk to him, and he's got the same thing. He's totally focused on his person, and he just did a great job. He had a great season. Went to the semi-state, got beat by a guy from Greenfield Central, and you get to the semi-state, everybody's a good wrestler. And Gage just had a tremendous season for us, and we're going to miss him a lot. We did have our numbers were a little down in wrestling this year. We only had 7, and we got 4 of those kids are seniors. But Coach Bain, who coached our football team, coached our wrestling team, does a really good job. I know he's recruiting hard to get some more kids in, but I just can't say enough for Gage Sherwood. He is an embodiment for me of what a student athlete should be.
That's awesome. Because you know what, we follow wrestling here on the show pretty close. And I'm good friends with Doug Dieters and Coach Froman back at the Brookville and Franklin County days and stuff. And they've got 2 boys who've heading on to state, and very fortunate and excited for them. Good luck to them. We'll maybe have a show before that, but did you have any lady wrestlers?
No, not this year. We did not.
Okay.
We did not. And we thought we were going to early, but we just really did not. And, I think that's a sport that's really picking up in some areas of the world. In some areas of the state, it's really big. I hope we have some girl wrestlers next year. But, we'll see where that goes. And if we have them, we'll offer it, and we'll be very competitive at it. But everything that you do in high school athletics has to be, the kids have to want to do it. And you can't force kids to do things, because once you do that, then you've got this constant, you made me do this, you made me. We don't. We take a different approach. We want you to do it. We offer you this. We'll talk to you 3 or 4 times, and then hopefully you'll decide to play. And if you don't, you make your own choices, and life will go on for you. So hopefully we'll have some girl wrestlers, but whether we do or not, we'll offer it and see where we go from there.
I was over at Milan, got my Milan hat on, everybody, tonight. Everybody knows I'm a Milan fan. I was at Milan one day doing a sales call when their girl got recognized for winning the state. And they had the gym full up, and I got to just hear her in the back. And for a young girl, she was excited. She won, obviously. But boy, she gave a mature talk about, hey, girls in the crowd, it's expanding. Get enthusiastic. Talk to us if you want to learn about it. She was like a really good ambassador, besides being a really good wrestler. I was like, boy, she just gave you guys a heck of a selling pitch for this program of ladies.
I think in general, I think that so many kids now don't understand that high school, the range in high school from being a student to an athlete is like an hourglass. The sand's going to run out.
Yeah.
And when it does, you can't go back and say, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. I try to encourage kids, especially as freshmen, try something.
Yeah.
Do it for the whole time. If you don't like it, I'm not an advocate for quitting. So I always tell them, you finish the season. You go try it for a season. If you don't like it, then you know what you're missing, or you know what you're not missing. Too many times we get, our kids get programmed to say, and not just our kids, I think statewide, I'm not good enough, or I don't know if I want to work that hard, or maybe it's not as much fun. But they don't ever try it to find out. So I encourage kids to try, see if you like it, and then go from there. Because like I said, it runs so fast. So we have a textbook speech we give all of our freshmen when we come in. These will be the fastest 4 years of your life. You're going to sit here and you're a freshman and you're maybe not playing as much or this or that, but then all of a sudden you're going to be your senior year and it's going to be there. And the amazing thing about that is every year our seniors remind them, hey, Coach told us the same thing. You're not going to realize how fast this is going to go. You better enjoy it while it lasts. You better have fun while it lasts, because at the end of the day, for most kids, it's going to end in high school. So if it ends in high school, you may as well enjoy it, work hard at it, and have fun. And, I tell them it's like having a job. Most people work hard at their job. Most people get rewards from their job. And most people, if they have a good job, have fun at their job. I know a lot of people that do a lot of hard work, hard physical labor, but they have fun doing it. They enjoy it. And I think that's just the way athletics are. You got to understand that you got to have some fun. It can't be where you're so intense or it's so embodied of your whole thing that it makes you a different creature. You got to be who you are, and then allow that to be shown through the athletics and the extracurriculars that you're involved in.
Well, it's well said, and I got a point to share with you, and after we get through our next part, before we jump to the spring, spring's not here yet, but it's getting close. Where is the boys sectional for you?
For boys basketball, we are at Blue River this year.
Blue River
this year, and then next year we will be hosting the sectional at our place. So
I was just getting ready to say, when's the last year you've hosted?
We have never hosted a boys sectional at our place. So we're going to host it for the first time next year. Extremely excited about that. Looking forward to our new facilities with that as well. Our sectional is very good. Monroe Central, right now, Monroe Central is probably the head and probably the favorite. If you want to look at the favorite, you want to race them like horses, are probably the favorite. But them, us, Seton Catholic, Union City, all four of those teams, Randolph Southern, all five, are playing some really good basketball right now. So anybody in that sectional has got a legitimate shot of winning. So then it comes down to, the most critical things that people don't see. The draw.
Yeah.
How many games do you have to play? Do you get 2 games, or do you have to play 3? Are you playing the early game? Are you playing the late game? There's so many things that go into that draw that people don't understand. And, it's okay to be good, but you got to have a little luck along the way, too. Some things got to fall your way. And so we're excited about the opportunity we're going to have. We know we have some monster games ahead of us in order to win that. But just like everything else, if it was easy, everybody'd do it. So we know it's not going to be easy. We just got to put our nose to the grindstone, and then we got to go play basketball.
Well, we wish you all the luck, because that's exciting about you're going to get to host next year. Obviously, your focus is on this year and have all the success that you can. And we'll be glad to back you and root for you and everything. So I love to see the local teams do well in tournament action. But that'll be exciting. I'm happy for you guys. How many, then, with the improvements, will the gymnasium hold?
It'll hold about the same amount. It's just going to be we're flipping sides, home side to visitor side. Okay. We're putting new scoreboards in, new things like that, taking ceiling tiles out, opening it back up again. It used to be open all the time, and then we closed it in with those ceiling tiles, getting rid of those, adding some locker rooms here, adding a new entryway. It's really exciting. I've seen the blueprints of it. Hopefully everything goes as planned, everything works out, with the day and age of all these supplies changing numbers and, going up in price. It limits what you can do sometimes, but I think it'll be really neat. And, we do a lot of things in our facilities. We have graduation in our facilities. We have band concerts in our facility, choir concerts, fundraisers. We have so many things that are involved in our facility. So it's really nice to be able to showcase something like that. That will be exciting for the community, exciting for our athletes, and exciting for everybody that's in that area.
That's great. Jumping then really into the spring. Got to get through the winter time yet, but it's getting closer. You've got boys baseball.
Yep.
Do you have girls softball?
Yes, we have softball.
Okay. Do you still have track?
Yes, we have track. And boys golf.
Boys golf, and of course girls tennis.
And girls tennis, yes. And our baseball team should really, really be good this year. We have got a lot of kids back, a lot of experience back, a lot of seniors. The younger kids that played last year are very good. We've probably got one of the best pitchers in the area, maybe 2 of the best pitchers in the whole area that can really throw some strikes. I think if we can stay injury-free, we're going to be pretty good there. Our softball team has got 4 really amazing players on it as well, and they've got some depth. So I think they're going to be okay. And we do host the sectional for softball at the Dublin Diamond, and we've done that quite a few times.
That's in Dublin, of course.
Yeah, quite a few times.
Yeah.
Our track numbers were down last year, but they seem to be up. It looks like we're going to have 12 to 14 track runners, and that's a far cry from the 5 or 6 we had last year. Boys golf, very talented again. We've got a lot of kids back. A lot of kids that played last year, a lot of kids that understand the game and put in the time. And in girls tennis, I think that they're gonna be younger this year. They had some really good team last year, but they're going to be a little bit younger. But I think the motivation to drive behind them and their coaching staff does a good job. I think they're going to be competitive as well.
You know, when my older daughter, played 4 years of tennis, and when my boss here, who was the longtime coach at Connersville, Mike, you of course know him. Cambridge City was always tough in girls tennis. Mm-hmm. They played what we always called a long match, which means they were defensive players and then go on the offensive. Yeah. And so you had to wait it out because they didn't want to make many mistakes.
Right.
They made you make the mistake in the era that I got to see them.
Well, that's similar now. My son's the coach of that program now.
Oh, that's great.
And that's how he played when he played tennis. That's how he played when he played at Manchester. And he does a lot of that same thing. He tells the kids to count hits. How many hits can you get in a rally? How many? He's always tell them, you get over 12 or 13, and somebody on the other side is thinking, I got to smack this thing that goes in the net. Make them create mistakes, and I think he embodies that philosophy with that, and he does a good job with the kids too.
Well, that's exciting because it was fun to play tennis up there, and when they would come down, and we were always happy. Like, well, I was just personally happy when my daughter came out of there for a win because I was like, hey, they're always scrappy up there. They know how to play, But that's good. The softball diamond's still up there in Dublin.
Yep, still Dublin Diamond.
And you're hosting sectional. That'll be exciting.
Yep.
The baseball is in Milton.
In the Milton field, yeah. We've done a lot of remodeling to that, and that looks really, really nice going into the season as well.
The old field in the middle of town, back with Park, didn't it used to serve as the baseball field?
Well, only for a couple years when the Milton Diamond was under reconstruction.
Where was the original baseball field, like in our era then?
No, it was at Milton. When our era,
it was in Milton.
Yes, it was in Milton.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sure was.
Because they used to host a big Labor Day softball tournament down there.
Yeah, well, now that's in Kreitz Park. They still do that.
They still do that. That was an overnight thing.
They still have softball tournament stuff down there, but that's where our youth baseball team. Okay. So there's 4 diamonds down there, and our youth baseball runs in that Kreitz Park, and they do a really good job down there.
Man, that was always a big deal. I never personally played in it, but you'd be playing at 3 in the morning or 4. Yeah. That big thing, and a lot of our Brookville players did, and Connersville players who I know, and that was just something else. But that's exciting for your spring. I know they had a lean year or two in baseball and to see them come back and got things to look forward to, that's great. And that's kind of a neat field out there in Milton.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable. Yes.
Yeah. When I've went by a few times, my wife knows that it's funny. She's like, you're kind of like the true sports junkie. Like, you'll watch any game. Mm-hmm. Or at least, there's a game over there. Right. You know, I'm like, we drove up to William Reds or number 9. I'm like, there's a baseball game at Cambridge City. I would like stop in and see it, you know. And granted, I get to announce the baseball at Franklin County, and very privileged to do that, baseball, basketball, and the soccer. But I don't know, I just love high school sports, and that's what a lot of this show is based on. Mm-hmm. And we're glad that you're the first out of our Franklin County area to step in and be with us, and we thank you for that. As far as any other things on your end that you're excited about or
I'm just
looking forward to?
I just love kids. I think that it is so neat. The greatest thing about being an athletic director and as a coach and a teacher is that every year you get older, but the kids stay the same. Mm-hmm. And people look at that as maybe not a positive, but I do, because it brings a lot of youth back to you. Mm-hmm. When you're involved with these kids every day and see the things that they do and the enthusiasm and the fun that they have, it brings back a lot of things in your mind that reminds you why you do what you do. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes we can all get caught in we do this because it's a job, or we do this, I've always told my wife since day one, when coaching and being involved in sports becomes a job, then I'm going to do something different.
Sure.
It is not a job for me. It is an absolute enjoyment to see kids succeed, and to know when they don't succeed that we can fix it and maybe help them in another area of life that will allow them to succeed. Because like I said, I always judge what I do 5 to 10 years after what we do it, and then we go from there. So I just love the Lincoln environment. I love our family environment. I grew up there. My mom still has a dairy farm down the road. My brother has a farm down the road. I have a farm right out by side of town of a football field, which is really 1 minute from my house.
Oh, wow.
So there's so many things that make Cambridge City fun, and I think we're probably one of the smallest towns in the state that really have a lot of things to offer. We've got great restaurants. You talked about
My
number
favorites.
9. One of the greatest things, Hilltop ice cream. Go on and on and on, and we've got what makes our place so special is we've got really good people. And that's what's fun to be around. I have always told myself I surround myself with good people, because when you surround yourself with good people, then you're going to be a good person. And I think that's important. And we're very fortunate, very blessed to do what we do. My wife is one of my assistant ADs, and I couldn't do without her. She does such a great job of helping run things, and just so nice. And it's a family thing for me. My son was our announcer this year for boys basketball.
Oh, that's so
My
much
other
fun.
son's assistant coach and coaches tennis, and so it's a family thing for me. And when I look at my players, I don't ever see a player. I just see a son, and that's the way I feel about them. And sometimes when you're in that role, you can't always make them happy. But the good thing about it is they all understand in the long run that we're here to make them better human beings. And I just love my job. I love what we have in our school community. I think we are the best secret in the area, and I love what we do.
Well, and I tell you what, balancing, and I've got to work with some phenomenal athletic directors in my time, and was with some when I was in high school. And being an athletic director and still being a coach, boy, and then you mentioned that your family gets to be a part, because anybody who's been a part of any sporting events knows how much time you do spend away from the family.
Yes, exactly.
And it can be hard on people sometimes. Yeah. But them having an interest and being there with you you're working, but you're also spending good, memorable time together. Congratulations to you on getting that pulled off and working together like that.
And I'm very fortunate. My daughter, who was a super athlete at Cambridge City, an all-state volleyball player, she's a teacher, and she teaches at Tri-County and teaches agriculture, and she's really heavily involved in her programs and their programs there. My one son works for Meyer, and he's a distributor of products and stuff for them, loves it, and so he's in the area. My other son teaches math in our school. So it's just really nice that they understand the sense of community and giving back, and so it makes you feel like in the long run you've done something you're supposed to do. I've been blessed.
Well, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. But I had to relay some sentiments from my other corner crew members. They know you from a different role.
Judging cattle.
Judging. He's a 4-H judge.
Yeah,
and we were all 4-H guys. I didn't show livestock or nothing, but they were like, Rodney does judging. I said, well, I'll give a pitch for 4-H.
Yeah, I do judge 4-H dairy cattle. I've been doing that for about 8 or 9 years now. I love it.
And they said you were good at it, too.
I judged at the state fair, and, my goal for that is, just like in everything else, I want to be the best I can be, and I'd really like to judge a national show one time. But I grew up on a dairy farm. The dairy farm is still an extremely important part of all of our lives. I have a brother who's dedicated to totally doing that. Another brother who's a coach and an assistant principal at Monroe Central, who we play in the sectional here later on, and he's involved with the farm. So the farming is as I always tell my wife, it's a stress reliever. Mm-hmm. It's I've never went to the barn and fed my goats and heard a mama goat complain about how I'm feeding them, or anything like that. So it's really, really nice from that standpoint. But I do love to judge cattle. It gets me away, and it gets me to build relationships with other youth in the state. And I feel like that if you ever watch me judge, you leave there thinking, man, this guy likes kids, because he is treating them all with respect and does things. And I really enjoy judging livestock.
Well, it's funny. One of our coach's corner crew, I don't know if you ever really knew this, got started where we sit for the football games. Mm-hmm. And one night the football game wasn't going so good for good old FC. So our big old group is down there in the corner, and we're just having a 4-H talk.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, your clubs, we hated your club. Just joking, of course.
Right.
Or my club's not even around anymore.
Right.
Change names. And 4-H, and just to give a quick, it's the one thing my daughters didn't do. They were very active in everything Brookville had. They didn't get to do 4-H. And I was like, darn it, but they were busy enough. But what a great program to be involved in, and I'm glad you're still involved, getting to be a judge, and that's just a wonderful thing for kids out there.
Yeah, well, 4-H has been an integral part of the Klein family, and all of our children run 4-H. All of our children learned a lot from 4-H. We give them an animal, they take care of it, they do the things they have to do for it, and it teaches them so much responsibility and so much understanding that how something or someone needs you so badly.
Sure.
If you ever taken care of animals before, you know they can't take care of themselves. So you have to be there for them. You have to feed them. You have to do the things you do. And I think that's such a big thing, of teaching kids priorities. Sure, you want to go out with your friends, you want to do this, but hey, you still got to be home at this time to take care of this guy. And so I think it's great. I think 4-H is a wonderful, wonderful thing for youth, whether it's in agriculture or whether it's in projects in the building. I think there's so many lessons that can be learned from that, and I think it is such a valuable program across our entire state, but across the country as well.
Well, and it is. I was proud that I was back then. They didn't say too much about 10-year members. I was 1 year away.
Yeah.
I should have stayed and got the honor, but no, I really enjoyed it. But hey, we know, Rodney, it's been a long day for you. For those who watch and listen to the Corner Crew, we're going to be, it takes us several days to get this out. We're going to be mixing Rodney's interview in with another interview. So we hope to get this to everybody next week. Just in case we don't have a regular show, we want to wish good luck to you guys in the sectional.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Best of luck and success, and keep on going. And we want to wish the Franklin County wrestlers good luck in the state, and all the local teams good luck in their sectionals. Sectionals a little different around here this year. Connersville's got to head back north.
Yeah.
Franklin County's is still a lot of that, mostly IAC. I think Jennings County's in this year. And so it's a little different look. Yep. But the last few years, it's just basically been the EIAC sectional and things. So it's exciting. So wish good luck to all the local teams. Rodney, I hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
This isn't nothing fancy.
It doesn't have to be fancy to me. I just think it's great that somebody takes the time to try to outline and do the things that are positive in people's communities. And I can't commend you enough for doing that. I'm very thankful that you entered Cambridge City in this conversation. We are always, I am always available to talk to anybody. I love people. I love sports. I love kids in general, because I just think they're such an integral part to what we want to be in the future. And if we don't spend time with them now doing what we need to do to develop the skills they need to have, we're all going to struggle later. And I think that's such an integral part of whether it's 4-H or athletics or band or choir. Those love affairs that we allow those kids to have with those sports are going to be an integral part to what kind of person they are. And I just think anytime we can promote it, we need to do it.
I agree, and it's a lot of fun. And well, hey, it's just a great thing. You hit every nail on the head in spades, but you're welcome back here anytime.
Anytime you want me back,
you're going to go down in history as the first non-Franklin County, I've reached out to some Connersville people, and we'll see, because we're in Connersville tonight. We want to include them in our show as much as they ever want to be and things, but we sure do thank you.
Well, thank you. Anytime, man. I'll come back anytime.
You're welcome all the time. And if you ever got a memorabilia or a picture of yourself, we can fit it on there.
Well, I don't know that you want any kind of picture of me anyway.
In a gold jacket thrown in the stands or something like that. But hey, from the Corner Crew, Coach's office here in Connersville tonight, will listen to us. We'll be getting this out on the air. Our producer, June's been teaching me the ropes on doing some of the producing. So if it comes out screwed up, don't blame June, blame me, everybody. But we're doing good. And again, Rodney, thanks. We've had some crappy weather, so everybody be careful out there. You be careful heading home.
I will be.
And we'll see you again on the Coach's Corner.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you again.